Welcome to Cold Brew Finance's U.S. End-of-Week Deep Dive, covering key market moves across indexes, sectors, stocks, and global markets. We're diving into the week ending Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Buckle up as we explore how the markets have fared this week. Kicking things off, I'm Max Profit. Key indexes saw a downward trend this week. The S&P 500 index closed at 6,915.62, down 24.38 points, marking a second week of decline. Similarly, the Dow 30 index ended 260.62 points lower at 49,098.72, showing a stable sideways movement recently. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq Composite Index finished 14.15 points down at 23,501.24, aligned with its positive trend. Market breadth indicates a mixed performance across indexes. The S&P 500 index saw 313 stocks advancing against 179 declining this week. The Dow 30 index had 17 advances and 13 declines, showing a tighter margin. Despite declines, indexes maintained strong positive trends, highlighting resilience amidst recent dips. Focusing on weekly returns, the S&P 500 index had a negative return of minus 0.35%. The Dow 30 index reported a similar trend with a return of minus 0.52%. Meanwhile, the Russell 2000 index showed some resiliency with a minor minus 0.32% change, supported by some upward volatility. Long-term returns paint a more positive outlook. Over a decade, the S&P 500 index posted an ARERR of 13.74%. The Nasdaq Composite Index led with a stellar 17.73% annual rate. On the Dow 30 Index, a stable return of 11.79% reflected its strong performance over the past decade.
Checking out best and worst performing equities, I'm Penny Stock. Corvus Pharmaceuticals skyrockets with a close of 25.10, up 17.5, marking a 211.8% rise. It sets a new all-time high with an ongoing very strong positive trend and has closed up for 2 consecutive weeks. With noteworthy gains, Corvus Pharmaceuticals had a 1-week total return of 212% and an average daily return of 45.75%. Brand Engagement Network recorded a 1-week total return of 159%, and Global Interactive Technologies saw total returns of 150%. In a display of strong annual performance, Corvus Pharmaceuticals achieved an impressive 3-year ARR of 215.07%. On the other hand, Global Interactive Technologies and Direct Digital show negative 1-year returns, but exhibit upward momentum. Highlighting major stocks, Moderna saw its price leap to 48.71, gaining 6.88 for a rise of 16.4%. It's a 3-week winning streak marked by a very strong positive trend and new 1-year highs. Albemarle also closed up 3 weeks in a row with a strong upward trend. Among exceptional weekly performances, Moderna's 1-week return is up by 16.4%, showing robust growth. Albemarle pulled a similar increase. Meanwhile, Enphase Energy achieved a solid 12.8% total return amidst high volatility. Looking at annual returns, Micron Technology achieves an impressive 1-year ARR of 281.2%. Advanced Micro Devices also shows strong performance with a 3-year ARR of 50.21% in a strong positive trend. Turning to decliners, Urban One fell sharply by 76.10, closing at 10.91, marking an 87.4% decline. It hit a new all-time low in highly volatile market conditions, dominated by a mixed trend. Meanwhile, Venus Concept dropped 79.7%. In unfavorable movements, Urban One saw a one-week return plunge to minus 87.4% with strong downward momentum. Venus Concept and Elong Power Holding also faced substantial negative one-week total returns of minus 79.7% and minus 62.4%, respectively. This week's worst-performing stocks saw some dramatic declines. Urban One dropped to a close of 10.91, down 76.10, marking a new all-time higher close. Venus Concept shares finished at 1.62, decreasing by 6.38, continuing a very strong negative trend. Elong Power Holding recorded a new all-time lower close at 0.82, with strong downward volatility. Big cap stocks experienced notable sell-offs. Abbott Laboratories set a new one-year lower close, dropping 14.34 to 107.42, with a very strong negative trend. Coinbase Global fell by 24.20 to 216.95, experiencing some downward volatility. GE Aerospace saw a close of 293.87, down 31.25 in a mixed negative trend. Continuing the downfall of major stocks, Abbott Laboratories is down 11.7% for the week as the close reached 107.42. Monthly and year-to-date returns similarly show declines. McCormick & Company ended 2 consecutive weeks down, closing at 60.79 with a very strong negative trend and volatility. On a yearly scale, Coinbase Global saw total returns fall by 26.7%, while its 3-year returns are buoyant at 287.68%. GE Aerospace gained 46.35% in yearly total returns, yet ended the week down at a close of 293.87, staying in a mixed negative trend.
And now onto U.S. sector performance. The energy sector closed the week at 756.78, up 22.84. This marks a new all-time high with a 3.1% gain. It has closed up 5 consecutive weeks, exhibiting a very strong positive trend in strong upward volatility. The energy sector continues to lead with one-day advances, surpassing declines, showing a strong positive trend. Other sectors like basic materials also saw significant advances. However, communication services showed mixed results, with declines slightly outweighing advances. The energy sector showed a robust 3.1% gain for the week, with a 10% year-to-date return. Similarly, basic materials achieved a 2.5% weekly gain to further its 10% year-to-date returns. Other sectors demonstrated less significant changes over the same period. The basic materials sector stands out with a 10-year total return of 160.06%, indicating the highest growth rate among the sectors. Meanwhile, the energy sector showed a steady annual increase of 6.14% over the same period, reflecting a stable long-term upward trend.
This week has been positive for leading U.S. energy stocks. EQT closed at 55.52, jumping 4.98, while Devon Energy recorded a milestone with a new one-year high close at 38.64, showing a very strong trend. Coterra Energy and Kinder Morgan also showed strong positive trends and closed up for 2 consecutive weeks. Significant gains were observed in U.S. energy stock returns for the week. EQT and Expand Energy led with impressive one-week total returns of 9.85% and 9.62%, respectively. Despite the mixed trend, Devon Energy maintained strong upward momentum, with robust gains for the month-to-date and year-to-date returns. Longer-term gains from U.S. energy leaders show an interesting pattern. EQT achieved a substantial 3-year annual rate of return of 16.34%. Meanwhile, Kinder Morgan shines with a remarkable 67.79% return over a decade. However, Devon Energy highlights a mixed picture with negative 3-year returns, but rebounds significantly over 10 years.
In a challenging week, the financial services sector closed at 881.72, down 22.78 points or 2.5%. Similar slumps were noted as the real estate sector fell 6.30 points, and utilities sector dropped 8.61 points. Despite broad declines, some metrics showed mixed signals. The financial services sector saw more declines than advances over the week. In contrast, the real estate sector reported a notable 180 declines against just 46 advances. Examining returns reveals the financial services sector had a weekly total return of minus 2.52%, highlighting a continuous downward trend. The real estate sector followed closely with a 2.36% decline, indicating substantial sector-wide pressures. Long-term analysis shows a mixed landscape. The financial services sector achieved a 10-year ARRR of 11.86%. Meanwhile, the industrial sector continues to maintain a strong positive trend with recent new highs.
In the financial services sector, all stocks showed declines this past week. Coinbase Global ended lower, with a significant drop of 10%, reaching a close of 216.95. A very strong negative trend is evident alongside some downward volatility. In total returns performance, Capital One Financial posted a one-week total return of minus 9.1%, with a year-to-date decline evident in its metrics. The firm has closed down for 2 consecutive weeks, indicating a mixed negative trend amid the sector's downturn. Long-term returns show variability. KKR, and over the past decade, shows impressive resilience with a 10-year ARR of 23.72%, despite a recent weekly fall of 7.7%. The media sector's downturn is visible, but some stocks maintain long-term growth.
Thanks for watching. I'm Max Profit, along with my AI co-host Penny Stock. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Cold Brew Finance is an experimental project with market reports written, narrated, and delivered totally by AI, with market data kindly provided by financialmodelingprep.com. Always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. Check into the channel daily for coverage of stocks, crypto, currency, and commodities. Thanks for watching.